Now that we have our public and private instances, we can set up our Bastion host. So that way we can SSH into the Bastion host, and then from there, SSH into our private instance. All right. So I am going to copy my public instance because the Bastion host is going to be most similar to that. All right. And then I am going to try to slowly edit this so I don't make any mistakes. So I'm going to say AWS instance Bastion host. I'm going to leave the AMI instance type, subnet ID. It's going to go in the public subnet. We do want a public IP address with it. We'll use the same key, and then we need a security group. All right. So then we are going to we're going to say CWC Bastion host. All right. And yeah, I kind of want to add it with EC2. Okay, so now we need to have a security group because we don't want to just use the public security group. So let's go ahead and we'll copy the private security group here. And we will put it right on top of our Bastion host. All right, so security group, we're going to have coding with Kali, Bastion host security group. All right, so now let's think about what we want. So first I'm going to do, I think, name. And I'm going to say that because I want to make sure I can see the names of all my security groups. And I'm going to add that for the private and public security group, so it's easier to navigate. Perfect. All right, now let's take a look at what we want. All right, so we want to allow SSH traffic. No, we want to allow SSH traffic from my IP address. And then we want to allow all outbound traffic. All right. So we want to allow SSH, but instead of all, we want to allow it from this CIDR block. So we'll paste that in there. All right. Next, we don't need traffic from port 80 because we're not actually using the Bastion host for any application traffic. So we can get rid of that. And egress, we want to allow traffic to go out to wherever. All right, perfect. Next then, we want to go back up to our private security group, and we want to change this CIDR block to being our AWS security group .coding with Kali Bastion host security group .id. All right, now let's try Terraform apply and see what we messed up. Which, wouldn't it be cool if it was nothing? Doubtful though. All right, so it looks like we're replacing the public security group, the private security group, and we're creating the Bastion host security group. We're updating our public instance and private instance in place, and we're creating our Bastion host. All right, I approve these changes, and let's go. And then I'm going to get rid of this comment because we already did that. And I'm going to review my Bastion host security group and my Bastion host instance. And I'm making the security group the public security group. So we want to make this the Bastion host security group. All right, and we'll have to go ahead and fix that once these are done. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to apply again with this change, and then I'll pick right back up where we left off. Just wanted to check in with you. I know you haven't been waiting because I paused the video, but it is taking a long time to delete. So if you are following along with me exactly, don't get super freaked out if it's taking 4 minutes plus to destroy your security groups and bring them back up. I'll go back on pause, and you know what? If it is something to be concerned about, we'll fix it anyway. All right. See you in another few minutes, although it won't be a few minutes for you because I'm pausing. All right, turns out it probably was a problem. So I waited quite a while for deletion. I waited 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Now, it could have continued working, but I don't think it would because the security group doesn't feel too big. And then if you look, you can say that we have a dependency violation, that we have a dependent object, okay? And it looks like we have that for both security groups. Execution halted. So I'm gonna go, then I went and looked into my security groups here, and I was like, let's go ahead and let's just delete them. But you can see we have an issue because they're referenced by other security groups or they're associated with instances or network interfaces. So they're definitely associated with instances. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Terraform destroy and just destroy everything, and then we can restart and go from there. So hopefully this is quite a bit quicker. But yeah, this is a good way to see if something's not working with Terraform. You can always go in and take a look on the console and try to figure out what's happening there. And we are now deleting. I will update you when we get applied once again. All right, so I got it all destroyed, went to apply, and I have that my security group is an invalid CIDR address, which fair. I was kind of guessing that that was just magically going to work. So let's go ahead and use Copilot to explain this error and see if A, it explains it well enough that we know how to fix it, or B, it gives us some terms that we can then search and do some research on. All right, so if you're trying to allow traffic from all instances associated with a specific security group, you should use source security group ID or security groups not a CIDR block argument. Fair, because it's not a CIDR block. All right, so let's go to our private EC2 security group here, and it's not going to be and we can do security groups and try that. All right. And now let's try Terraform apply. And let's say yes. I think we're getting close. Let's go to our EC2 dashboard. So we're creating our private instance here. All right. Looks like we have our public, private, and Bastion host. All right. So let's just run through it real quick and make sure that we can connect. I'm going to go ahead and run the chmod just in case, because I did completely destroy all my resources, and then connect. All right, so we're able to connect to our public. Let's make sure we're able to connect to our Bastion host as well. So connect, and instead, I'm just going to copy this so we can use our -a tag. I'm going to say SSH-A and then put in our Bastion host and permission. Permission denied. Interesting. Having to do with our public key. Oh, because I didn't save this public key in the keychain. So let's just do this here. And so we can enter into our Bastion host. And so then let's do SSH add key to SSH agent. All right. So this is generating the key. Now we want to add it to our agent. So first we're saying eval. And the reason we're doing this is we're starting the SSH agent in the background. Okay. All right. So then let's open up this file. So we're going to go to the root and open up the config. And we don't have one. Oh. Well, interesting. Okay, so we opened it here. This is not what we want. Adding SSH key to SSH agent. So it looks like we can do SSH-add. And then add keys .ssh/ and then my key name is CWC-key. WC-key. So I think this is the folder that we're in already. So -key-pem. Added. Okay, so now we should be able to do SSH-A and then the Bastion host. Woohoo! And we're in it. So now let's go to our private and we go to connect and we're going to say SSH and then grab this. Yes, we want to connect. And we connected to our private instance. Woo! All right. So we should have a few more resources still to add. I know this is taking a while, but we're doing great and we're almost there. And then we can finally install some stuff. All right. See you in the next video.